Your little Fortnite dance too, there you go. So we're Vanderbilt Borders, a humanitarian team from the UK who are here to deliver essential aid to vulnerable Ukrainian people. So we have Fenton, Henry, Steve, Darren, hello, and our translator Edward. Fleet. We also have a great guy who joins us called Justin from Justin Ukraine Aid, and he helps us with transport and also acquiring aid to distribute. So cheers, Justin. So we're on our way back to the village in Kherson Oblast that we were in yesterday and had to flee. Over there. We're really f***ing exposed here as well, boys. Let's go, let's go, let's go! Drying up now. Got flashing lights on it. The explosions just got louder and louder while we were there stuck. I'd say it's the closest we've been. The Russian rocket was about 30 metres overhead. We were very quick to get out there, which was not fun because we were 15 kilometres from the front. We did go back, however, the next day we went back, resupplied the villagers, won't let the Russians win. So we were told that 25 rockets got through to the area, many were shot down, 25 got through, 6 have gone off this morning. But it's a Russian tactic. This area was under occupation about a week, 2 weeks ago, and now that it's been liberated, the Russians are targeting humanitarian workers because they're trying to starve them out. They're trying to, well, it's propaganda, it's trying to tell the locals, you're better off under Russian occupation because at least we give you scraps. So we're not going to let them win this one. We're going to go back with a load more food and make sure that they don't go hungry and they get the supplies they need to survive this winter. So you can see this watermelon, it's been riddled with bullets by the Russians, but the Ukrainians are now taking it back. And they've knocked this up. Little Ukrainian beating a Russian Nazi. We were told at the front by some of the soldiers we were helping, they couldn't believe that young people from Britain had come to help them when some of their own young people hadn't stayed to fight.
Just been talking to one of the Ukrainians who live in this village. From breakfast to lunch, they've had 13 rockets fired over their village, coming from the Russian side. And they're non-stop looking up in the air all the time. So I do feel sorry for them, watching out for missiles coming over. Whenever they come up, flying over, you know what I mean? It's bad for them, but we're here to help, give them food, and we're doing a good job.
So we noticed this chap's tyre's gone, so we're going to pump it up for him. So we've just been told by the head of the village we need to get out of here. We fed as many people as we can, left some food with him, but there's just been small arms fire over in the distance. We're going to clear out because we're not sure what's happening right now. They're not sure either, but it could be a Russian advance on this position. It was a risk going into Ukraine. I've never had war zone experience before that. I was very fortunate. One of my family friends, John Bream, was able to come out with us, and John was he's a paratrooper veteran and he was the Army boxing champion. And we had another chap come out, but it was just 3 guys in a transit van. John helped us with the security side because I felt comfortable being with him, and I have worked with a lot of veterans since then. It's great having them on the team because they are very security oriented. But there still is a real risk of dying. When we were dropping off in Kharkiv on the first trip, everyone told us don't go. We managed to get in by the skin of our teeth because we had to wait at a checkpoint for about an hour before we were allowed through. Then when we did go in, it was non-stop bombing. And it was so surreal because for me, for Ricky, John had obviously experienced it before, but for me and Ricky, experiencing from the bombs for the first time was quite scary. As I said, it was quite surreal at the same time because you're watching the locals. I remember one older gentleman was just gardening shirtless as bombs are landing very close to us. And it did make you think, these Ukrainians are pretty brave. The way we wanted to go to Kerson city, the bridge has been blown up, so we're back on these country roads. We've been told not to swerve off the main roads. Apparently this is all landmined on either side. That car must have hit a mine. So the guys said that the road ahead's mined. The army's just told us we need to reverse back up this way. And we got told to go down this route by the Ukrainian soldiers. Stopped by another Ukrainian soldier. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, what do you mean? He said, landmines all in front and they're all around us, so we had to reverse all the way back up. Got Jesus, we'll be safe. There's a mine where he is. Now turn around somewhere safe. Their vehicle got stuck, so we went out and pushed their vehicle out. But geez, bit of a close call, especially when there's blown up vehicles on the side of the road. Why you not tell us at landmines? Where are the landmines? So as you can see, a lot of people here travelled in on bicycles. before the war, they all had cars, but unfortunately due to the war, they can't afford the fuel. All the cars have been destroyed during the invasion or stolen by Russian soldiers. Some of them travel 20, 30 kilometers, some very elderly people, just to get water and food. Good?
Warm?
It's a good trench coat, that. So you can see this is one of the trenches we believe to be Russian. See, someone's hung their laundry up there. It's very minimalistic, it's not where you'd want to be at all. As you can see inside, it's all been cooked.
Так склалося, що до нас прийшли окупанти from Russia, так звані освободителі і носителі руського міра. Ну, і ви бачите, що сталося після так званої їхньої допомоги для братського народу. Нічого хорошого вони нам не зробили. Зробили людям горе, лишили нас домівок. Тепер моя жінка, мій син знаходяться в безпеці в Польщі. А я з батьками своїми вже пожилими залишився тут у селі для підтримки і для встановлення оселі, відремонтувати, допомогти, щоб зимою їм електроенергії немає, газу немає. Воду теж добуваємо із свердловин, які викопали люди своїми руками. Дякуємо волонтерам, які підтримують селян і жителів нашого села. Дякуємо за допомогу, тому що на даний момент ні роботи, ні магазинів, ні заправок у нас такого немає. Щоб зварити їсти, ми їздимо до міста Апостолова, яке знаходиться близько 70 кілометрів від нас. Ми заправляємо галони газ і варимо їсти. А так, 30%, мабуть, села, що є тут з людей. Всі інші повиїжджали по Україні, хто за кордону поїхав шукати кращої долі. Якось так. Дякуємо всім, хто нас підтримує. Дякуємо Великобританії, дякуємо всьому світу.
Some of them may be lucky, their homes may be untouched, but what we tend to have found in houses that haven't been bombed is soldiers will go in and they'll loot everything inside, rip up all the floorboards, rip up all the insulation and use them to build their bases. There's lots of billboards now in Ukraine dedicated to dead soldiers, so soldiers have been killed on the front line. There's another one. So I'm heading out with different team members who I've been out with before. We've got one new guy, Steve. He's a blood biker. They're volunteers. They transport a variety of different stuff from surgical equipment, medication, to try and ease pressure on the NHS. This here is a Russian ration box. You've seen them in boots with earthen before. It's got the star in. Nothing left and it's pretty sodden, but that's how they supply the troops, with loads of those cardboard boxes. So we're here in Kryvyi Rog, and the Ukrainians are towing a Russian BMP through the city. It looks like it's been captured because it's not blown up. So we're driving to Donetsk Oblast to go drop off aid as close to the front line as we can. We've got a few soldiers and regiments we want to help. As we're driving through, this is the first time it's happened, people are waving at us, but it's before, when we came through here, it was deserted, people looked very scared. If you saw anyone, they'd run off inside. It does just make you think, saboteurs, if Russian troops managed somehow to push up this far, kids coming up to cars, it's sad. It shows how innocent these people are, that they don't belong in a war zone. They don't belong anywhere near here. They deserve a childhood, and it's so frustrating to think that these guys have been robbed of that. And they're almost unaware there's a war going on just 30, 40 minutes that way. Henry, who's our team mechanic, he's coming out. He works for Southwest Trains, and so he's trained up as a engineer. So currently we're cable tying the car back together, and he's really useful, particularly now we've got the Isuzu, which is quite an old vehicle, because he's able to patch up any problems that may come from it. We've been whizzing around the front, and we just realised Terrence is So the chap's not telling us how he managed to come across this today, but he's got a badge which is from the Donetsk People's Republic, so it's a Russian one, is it? So spontaneously found it. So while we were in Donetsk Oblast delivering some aid to the villages around there, we stayed with a guy called Alex and his team. Alex is an officer in the Ukrainian army, and he had quite interesting comments about the Ukrainian war.
We all defend our country and freedom of world, usually. For all Russian, I say that it's very big mistake that they do, and we victory.
So we noticed there's a coal mine over there, and our token northerner Steve feels at home. So this is a rocket which has gone in and not exploded. That's, I guess, how it digs through the mud. So we just climbed up here and realised that's a sticky bomb being thrown at it. It's not gone off. There you are, mate. Little Fortnite dance. There you go. You're right, mate. I don't think they're very impressed with you.
Life moves on, doesn't it?